And it's Friday morning. We're reading from Matthew 24, 3 through 14. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus answered them, "See that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you're not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginnings of the birth pains. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. Many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved, and this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." Well, that's a bit of apocalyptic here. A nice thing for the week before Christmas, right? Like many apocalyptic texts, this one starts off saying, there are going to be all kinds of natural calamities. There'll be false prophets and wars and famines and all these sorts of things that happen, which is not unusual in apocalyptic thinking. And then there will be specific tribulation against the Christians, and they'll be put to death, and they'll be turned in and hated and persecuted and all these things. And Matthew is writing this in some ways knowing what's going to happen because he's already seen it begin. He knows this is happening, and he's trying to comfort and reassure and encourage the church. I think the key is the end, where it says the one who endures to the end will be saved, and the gospel will be proclaimed everywhere before the end comes. Sometimes people get hung up on that, and they say, well, the gospel hasn't been proclaimed in East Fiji yet, so I think we're okay. We can continue with life as it goes, or something like that. That's wrong thinking. But it does say that the gospel will be proclaimed everywhere before the end comes. And so endure to the end, and you'll be saved. So don't let all this get you down. Don't let all this oppositional stuff make you nuts, make you crazy. Don't let it drag you down, because endure to the end. Jesus is faithful, and you'll be all right. That's kind of what he's saying. There are many people in our land today who are kind of freaking out because they see the world changing fast, and they really want things to go back to the way that they think things used to be. If you're old enough to remember Ronald Reagan, you remember that Reagan got a lot of mileage out of let's take America back and let the sun rise again, and go back to this pleasant, almost imaginary, Leave It to Beaver sort of 1950s time. I'm not sure that he really remembered the 50s the way they were, because there was no racism in the official portrait of the 50s, right? Well, there was a lot of racism, but there was no poverty in the official portrait of the 50s. Everyone worked hard and was happy. And indeed, they may have been happy. But what Reagan wanted to do was take us back there, and he tried that. And a lot of people today feel like we need to go back to the way it used to be, because we always remember the way it used to be as wonderful, even though when we were there, we were thinking, oh man, this is terrible. So this kind of thinking goes back and forth. And a lot of people today look at this world and radical changes are happening around us, and they go, oh, I can't do it. I can't deal with it. I want to go back. Take me back to the horse and buggy days of the Old West when everybody had a pistol and it was wonderful. It wasn't wonderful, but that's the way we romanticize and remember things. And the media contributes to that, I think, a lot. And so what we need to do is have courage and have faith, trust in Christ till the end, whatever the end is. As a professor of mine said 40 years ago, it's not the end of the world, but it certainly is the end of Christendom as we know it. And that means a lot of changes, and change is frightening. So don't be frightened. Trust in Christ till the end. And we'll see you Saturday morning.